our regular work session of April 3rd, 2018. If you please silence or shut off your cell phones, we appreciate it, and join us in the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Melanie, there's some additions to the agenda and deletions also, I believe.
Yes, Kevin Cock is going to present the purchase of the 2001 CAT PS 200D roller and a proposal for semi-annual environmental monitoring and reporting, and then he's deleting the landfill contract. He'll be calling in about 9:05.
9:05, okay. So we have no timed items other than that now, being that he's asked me to respond remotely. So 5 minutes time.
I wonder how long Kate is.
2 minutes.
Oh.
Well, then we're gonna wait until the very end for the 2 minutes and come on up, Kate.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, welcome.
So I'm here before you today with a small grant. The grant comes from the Department of Justice Crime Victim Services Division. It's through the VOCA funding, the Victim of Crime Act. It's federal funding, and it's specifically for support services and training. So it's a total of $3,195. It's an 18-month grant that runs from January of 2018 through September of 2019. I sent in the agenda cover page. I did email the grant agreement to Mr. Bailey, Commissioner Kestner, and Ann last week, I think on Monday, and I didn't receive any feedback from them. So the grant, about $2,000 of it is budgeted for training for staff related to domestic violence, since we haven't been to one of those trainings in a while. And then the other portion is for emergency services for crime victims of Lake County. So we specifically put in there for transportation because that's always a challenge in our large of a county. And then also for, we're thinking of getting a couple of pay-as-you-go like track phones, because we found there's crime victims that either don't have a cell phone or it was broken in the altercation or accident, and so they have no way of calling 911 if they needed to, or contacting us for other reasons. So that's for that other portion of the grant.
And as you know, we take the information today and act on them on our regular board meeting the following days. I have no further questions.
I'm good.
Very good.
Thank you, sirs.
Caitlin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, we have the 9:05, there's quite a bit of people here. We don't normally have public comment on our work session, but I sense maybe people here for some public comment today. Or is everybody here just on what's on the agenda?
We're just here supporting the economic rural development.
Okay, all right. So, none of the other items I have we can get done in a minute. So,
Kevin should be calling in shortly.
So, I will give a bit of a liaison update.
Sure.
Just to kill a little bit of time. Last night, several of us met with Chris Harder and others from Business Oregon. It was a very good evening get together. Was able to talk a lot about potential things happening in Lake County, from Red Rock to everything associated with that, from forest health, Walls was there, Ginger was there, Commissioner Kestner, many others. So that was a good time last night. I took the time to acknowledge Larry's work and Annette's work on working on Red Rock in the state time. It seems like, I asked Chris, the director, it seems like the same story around a lot of the rural areas. You know, workforce is a challenge for a lot of the small areas, and just that's become a problem. Not when I talked to him, it wasn't only rural areas, but in the bigger places too.
Yeah.
Workforce is an issue. Other thing I report on is away from that, in June, we're very fortunate to be able to connections have Oregon Transportation Commission is going to meet here in Lake County. We'll get the whole commission here. It'll be June 20th and 21st. Hopefully this meeting room will be big enough. I'm going to try to make sure that I get the commission out on a tour on 140.
We got it coming.
All right.
Okay.
I can quit talking about all the other stuff.
Kevin?
Hello.
Okay, we got you on the line.
Morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
We've got a group of folks here at the meeting, and you're up.
Yeah, we're going to start by our agenda. We're going to start with the addition, Kevin, the purchase of the 2001 Cat PS 200D roller.
Okay. So this roller, the rubber tired roller, it is a similar chassis. I assume you're looking at the three pricings or
Quotes.
estimates off the internet that we got there, quotes. This will be the one from Grover Beach, California. We talked to these folks. They actually are a pretty good sized paving outfit, and they use it on leveling courses. So this roller has ballast capabilities that the rubber tire roller we currently have does not, meaning we can put a lot more weight in it. So looking forward into our maintenance future and grant projects, this reclamation that we're trying to work into our program for East Bay, we'll need a roller with the capability like this specific roller has. In addition, we need to seal coat with 2 rubber tire rollers. Last year we rented one. It was, let me find it here, it was $5,600 per month to rent, and at the time we couldn't find one that was under, if you will, a 10-year, what I consider to be a 10-year investment on seal coating these roads. So we located this one that's in front of you, and we'd like to move forward on it.
Yeah, it seems real reasonable, Kevin. Yeah.
The one thing I should add here for inspection note is Caltrans has specific inspection checklists that the equipment on a funded job from California, which that's where this contractor is, there's certain standards that have to be met there for tires, emissions control, and then this also has a skirting system on it for heat retention, which could be very valuable to us moving forward with our, not necessarily with just our normal seal coats single application, but with our double applications, heat retention on the rubber tires is a major player. So this roller kind of fits the bill for a lot of the things that we're looking forward to doing, and at a pretty reasonable rate. So the other two, now the other one was, let me flip to it. The other one was a little cheaper, but they can't verify to us what the actual hours on it, and it looks like it's pretty rough just by the pictures, so.
Well, and transportation on it would put it past the,
Yeah, it would.
looks good to me, Kevin. We had the discussion last year, and we're doing a lot more preservation on, and your plans, our plans to do quite a bit of chip seal, and this makes perfect sense to me. So
Yep.
Yeah.
we'll act on it tomorrow. So
Okay.
your next thing is the semi-annual environmental monitoring and reporting.
Okay, let me get to that here. So this is time and materials proposal from AECOM actually, from the company that helped us with some financial assurance, finalized numbers to fulfill the requirements of DEQ and the Thomas Creek Road landfill permitting. In absence of, we used to utilize Mark Yinger as the individual that did well monitoring for us and landfill gas monitoring, has retired. Let me find my note here, our first testing for the years in May, so somewhat time sensitive here to be able to meet our requirements for our permit. We still have to, even though we're transitioning from one landfill to the other, two different tax lots, there's a lot of requirements that we still need to fulfill in our 412 permit currently with Lake County landfill. And the third task on this semi-annual environmental monitoring is to update our environmental monitoring plan, which we have to do by August of 2018. So there's several kind of time-sensitive facets to this proposal, the three separate tasks, but it's all one proposal, and it'll be a calendar year's worth of work. And this company comes very highly recommended to us by neighboring landfills, and they are willing to do this work for us time and material. So I believe there's be a significant cost savings in that time and materials.
That looks good to me as well, Kevin, and we'll have our professional engineer stamp as part of this process, which is a requirement, so that's good.
Yeah, everything that DEQ needs, there were certain things that Mark Yinger, although he could provide the service, he couldn't provide the professional engineering stuff.
Yeah.
So this will kind of move us in a direction that fulfills DEQ's requirements a little bit more professionally.
Very good. Looks very good. I appreciate your work on that, especially as we're looking at the new cells being built and keeping all the monitoring up to compliance on the existing stuff. Thank you for working on that. We'll act on it tomorrow. Next item, 2000.
I just, sorry to interrupt you there. I just wanted to just make sure, note the rule exemption there that I reviewed with Mr. Bailey. It should be on your cover sheet there though.
Oh.
So, rule exemption number 9 for time material cost savings.
On the monitoring?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, it's actually not on there, Kevin, but you talked, we talked about it yesterday.
I did review it with him.
Yeah.
The updated agenda, some report shows rule exemption number 9. This is time and material not to exceed $33,545, which is a cost saving over a fixed contract for services. In order to stay in compliance with DEQ permit, this proposal for environmental monitoring is time sensitive. In addition, this company is highly specialized and comes well recommended from other counties and landfills in our area.
Okay. All right. Next up, you have asphalt concrete pavement production and delivery award.
Okay, so there was only one bidder this time around for the asphalt for Dog Lake Lane rehabilitation. The fiscal impact is $681,681.81. That is for 9,600 tons of level 3 half-inch dense graded lime treated job mix formula for that project for 2-inch wearing. Price came back at $71 a ton delivered, which is actually less than what we paid for the base. So our efforts to work with RMC to keep the plant here, in this case, definitely proved to be in our favor. This savings, our engineering estimates for this wearing surface material was between $800,000 and $900,000. So just on the low end of that, we're 120 less, which officially now within budget for this Dog Lake project allows me to extend limits working with FHWA to the Andy Hill intersection. So we will do 1.2 miles in addition to the project.
No, that's great.
That's excellent. That is really good.
Well, and your comment on the plant being here, Kevin, not only is it gonna save us a considerable sum of money for future projects, but it's also gonna be available to many other projects that will end up being a cost savings. They won't have the mobilization, they won't have the long haul, all those different things. It's a really good thing.
Well, yeah, and just in the short term, I know, because I helped the AD Hay School with some specs for their parking lot. RMC got that contract, and they probably saved a few dollars just because of that too on their paving project this summer.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Kevin, I think that's got everything you had on our agenda covered. I didn't miss
Yes, sir.
I don't know, Commissioner, it's all on for tomorrow. I don't know what, Kevin, your schedule's turning out to be with surgery, et cetera, so I'm not thinking you need to call in tomorrow or anything else.
No.
I think we're good. We just want you to get well.
Well, I'll work on that.
Thank you, Kevin. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
All right. Betty.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you receive a copy of the?
Thank you. I feel like I'm crossing paths with the state folks today. I think they're heading back to Klamath.
Wow, and you're over here.
So anyway, before you is a proposal for a budget request for STOED's 2018-2019 contribution from the county and the contract to provide services to you and economic development and rural development specialist services. The standard, outreach is included in, what we do, working with, as contact with the existing business community, working with startups on, helping them identify resources, being there to kind of refer them to the Small Business Development Center and to the different loan programs. We have a very good system set up. I do coordinate quite a bit with Kat Rutledge, who is the director of the Small Business Development Center, and we do try to make sure that the services are brought here whenever we can. So that is one of the specifics, things that we are trying to do, is make sure that we're partnering with all of the folks that are out there and letting the business community know that they have those resources for them. they just need to let us know what their needs are. We're also, in, this month, it's April already, in a couple of weeks, we'll be co-hosting with the Chamber of Commerce, the Rural Tourism Studio process, which is something that we've also done with the smaller communities in Klamath County. That process has a follow-up to it that requires some action committees and some teams to be put together to do some specific follow-up type of things. And so what we're proposing to use part of our funding for next year is to be one of those conveners and coordinators working very closely with the Chamber of Commerce on that. And not duplicating what is happening, but making sure that we're there at the table also as a partner. And along those lines, we've also have applied with LCRI for some funding for entrepreneurship development here in Lake County, very specific to outreaching to those what I call kind of maybe lone wolves, or the folks that are home-based type businesses in throughout the county. That application, we will not know for sure until the next day or two whether or not that was funded, but even if not funded, I think the partnership and that outreach, I think, is something that we would like to at least try to do on a limited basis. And what we're proposing to do is really kind of key in and highlight what is here. Give those existing businesses an opportunity to talk about what they do. Once a quarter, perhaps bring them to you to have a presentation on what their businesses are. Work with the media on highlighting and really kind of celebrating entrepreneurship here in the county and talking about what is there. And maybe giving them a chance to expand their markets that way.
If you're successful, will that impact this request?
That funding is part of what I'm hoping to anticipate, even with this request from you, and I also went to Klamath County and requested an additional $4,500 for a total of $35,000 from Klamath County. I still have a $10,000 or $15,000 gap in my budget for next year. I'm still, all of those grants need to come through for me to be totally 100% funded. So
For the whole SCOED office?
For the whole SCOED office, yes. So we have applied for that. We've also, as you know, the Brownsfield grant, we will not hear until May on whether or not that comes through. And that is then a 3-year project, which we would coordinate for the county. So that is anticipated, but I have no guarantees of funding. I've never in the many years of my career had such a lean grant time. I have applied personally for about 5 or 6 different grants that have not been funded. And I'm still trying to figure out what is going on, if there's some perception issues or what, but we've just not been successful. As you know, we worked very closely with your staff on the Tiger grant, and for that one we didn't get. And so we've also applied for some engineering work to be done through for broadband for redundancy, and that one did not get funded either. So I'm hoping that the ones, we have 3 others that are out there right now, including the entrepreneurship one and others, that we will receive that funding. Otherwise, I will have to look at, I've cut every overhead piece I can. I'm looking now at cutting some of the benefit packages that we are able to offer. So.
Okay, well, we're sort of getting over into the scope.
No, I know, I
which is
understand.
a whole nother
Well, I'm just,
budget and everything.
it is,
compared to
and
what
I
we're
apologize.
doing today.
I apologize, but the piece that I'm asking of you is part of that overall budget, and I'm hoping that you can focus
So
on this.
what you're asking for today then is, because this is kind of unusual, is for us to put it in the budget for the consideration of the budget committee? Because as we said 2 weeks ago, when we had a similar request, not the same dollar amount, that
Right.
we couldn't say
No,
that that's
and
what
and that
it's
is
gonna
where
be.
I'm at. I've made a similar, like I said last week, I made a similar presentation to Klamath County,
Mhm.
just to let, at their request. And so
Have we coordinated with Melanie on this? Because she
This-
runs that.
I provided this to Melanie last week, and she was the one that put it on the agenda.
Well, I'm the broken record, as
Okay.
always. I've asked for a couple of years now to see a contribution possibly from the town of Lakeview.
And that has been, a request has been made.
And so I don't see any contribution here at all from the town of Lakeview.
Well, that would be in my overall STOA budget, and so I am looking at, I have a request into them for $2,500.
And so that wouldn't go for the
I-
SCOAD position here, that would go into your overall SCOAD
That,
budget.
well, all the funds go into SCOAD as part of it, and this piece is basically used to offset the position that is here. But that would also help with that position. I don't divide up source of funds, I just pool funds in as local match. We also receive $25,000 a year from the city of Klamath Falls. All of it goes in to leverage our EDA planning grant, which then provides the staffing. Because what you provide is only about 45% of what the total staffing request is. So I use your funding to leverage the federal dollars. And if we also got funding from the city, it would use it for that and or to help grant writing, which I do specifically, and Pam also is working on grants now also. So we provide, SCOAD provides staffing based on, need as much as anything else for economic and community development.
So I'm a broken record too on
Mhm.
at least one item. And we've had different updates, it's kind of been all over the place, but I think, as I think many people do, Lake County in general is gonna grow.
Mhm.
We see some really positive things,
Mhm.
real close to happening. And I know we've all talked about the different issues around that. They're positive problems, but they're problems.
Right.
And the one that I want to refer to is, it's not, say, I'll use Red Rock as an example.
Mhm.
Say we get some kind of notice that
Right.
everything's heading in the right direction.
Yes, I have.
And soon. We still have that need to know about our infrastructure
Mhm.
throughout the county.
Right.
And, we're gonna get other businesses as a result of this, we're gonna get other needs and other demands. So I don't see that under the significant issues in the year ahead at all.
Well, I guess it's not called out specifically, but identifying potential grant funding sources and applications for infrastructure needs and community development projects is where that falls. Also, the housing is part of what has been identified as a potential.
Oh, yeah,
infrastructure
that's gonna
component.
be
And
a
so,
huge issue.
I guess in my mind, those two pieces, they're very broadly stated, but I see that a lot of the infrastructure community, and one of the things that I will be talking to the town about is helping with their water, and waters and sewer needs.
Sure.
And working with them on those funding resources. Also, we have, I am working with a team that includes Klamath Community College, both in Klamath and in Lake County, on workforce training specific to construction trades and to manufacturing trades. And it's a streamlined boot camp type of training that we're going to be jointly applying for. And so I'm on a task force that's working on that this week.
Yeah, that's great, because that's been a
And that is
discussion.
one of the pieces that may not be recognized in here,
Right.
but it is something that I see as part of my role, not necessarily just, the staff here
Right.
working.
No, I totally agree, because I think we identified a number of years ago, we didn't want to get too far in front of ourselves, but KCC with their presence and potentially their presence throughout the county, that when we have workforce training needs, they're nimble enough to adjust. And so this boot camp for that area, which is going to be a high demand area, is going to be very important.
And-
That's good.
And there was a commitment made in our meeting from Chip that whatever we do there, we will
Sure.
bring over here also. So that is being addressed, through that process. On the infrastructure piece, as part of the comprehensive economic development strategy process that I'm in right now, I have a survey that I will be sending out the next couple of weeks. I just need to get it out to the appropriate people, asking what are those infrastructure needs specific to water, sewer, roads, whatever. It's the wish list.
So who would you be sending that to, Betty?
I will be sending it to the whoever is the appropriate staff at the county level, and also some of the engineering staff for the smaller communities. I usually send that for here, it would be to Daryl Anson, who works very closely with the town on there. I will send it to your facilities folks and I'm in the process of identifying, your airport folks also. I know Dave, but Christmas Valley also, it will go out to, and the town of Payson, the city of Payson. That, I trying to get it into the right hands so I can get the information back.
So are you asking them to identify buildable property, the utilities associated, what is needed? Because this is what we've been after for a number of years, is when we get that company or companies that say, we're not gonna tell you who we are, but we need this. And we haven't heretofore been able to tell them that we have that.
What I am looking for as much as anything is the public infrastructure that will facilitate the private sector investment.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm trying to identify. So what projects could move forward if water and sewer were improved or roads were improved, or those type of things. Looking at, because the access we have potentially to economic development, EDA dollars to do some of that project work.
Well, and I think the Brownfields project would really
Is on,
help us with that.
Oh, yeah.
and that is the,
And countywide, not just
Yeah.
the North Industrial Park, but
and yes,
further north
definitely,
into
the scope of
Payson.
work on that Brownsville project is to do that, exactly.
Yeah.
Identify parcels of land that are underutilized or, have been abandoned for some reason, and what we can do to make those, improve those. So yes, that's all kind of, it's a lot of gathering of information at this point in time, but we're looking into that.
Well, I'm just the same as with LCRI, added into our budget process, just the same.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate you showing me this morning, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. No snow on the road right now.
No, thank you.
Darwin Johnson, Planning Commission membership position.
Hi, Darwin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, to be pretty brief, Planning Commission made a recommendation, which you have in front of you, for Allison Parks Rudolph. There were 4 applicants at the time the Planning Commission reviewed. There was a 5th that came in, but that was not reviewed by the Planning Commission, but certainly very happy with the amount of applicants that we had from the North Lake area. It was specific to that according to our bylaws, according to Oregon law to keep a geographical mix for your planning commission. So that's the recommendation. Certainly happy to answer any questions.
I have none, I'm glad that.
I'm thrilled that we have people from throughout the county and specifically in the north end that have applied, because we do need that representation.
So this is the furthest north we've had since Patch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
No, that's outstanding. So we'll be making a decision on it tomorrow.
And
So
I don't know if I got formally added to your agenda on the, just the comments, letters that I shared with you guys yesterday, and the draft I shared with you a couple of weeks ago. Just any comments you might have on that?
Yeah, it was not an addition, we need to
Okay.
acknowledge,
Yep.
we've already gave direction to you to comment on the EPSEC process. And we can acknowledge that you fulfilled the direction that's in those EPSEC.
And I have a quick question for Darwin on that, just out of curiosity. We continue to occasionally, and I really appreciate it, receive letters from our community members either supporting or opposing And they're usually at least phrased to us as we're the deciding official. And so, are you getting any feedback that way? Because it's.
A little bit, but most of it gets addressed to you, and then I tend to get it afterwards. So
Okay.
quickly, I will say that the state is the decision-making body on this. We are a stakeholder and interested party, special interest group, or not interest group,
Or
advisory group.
Advisory group.
And so as such, we will provide comments, and these are them, but we'll continue throughout the process to provide comments and work hand in hand with them to at least see that the process is followed and all the criteria is met. If it isn't, obviously they won't be able to make a favorable decision for those companies, applicants. But yes, all the comments that we receive, I will be forwarding on, but I encourage those that wish to make comment to send it directly to the state.
Well, and that's, I received one yesterday, I think we all did, and I was hoping, it didn't say in there that they had actually responded to the state on that. And
Darwin, I think, either is going to get a hold of the people and know to make sure to get their comments into the state. And sort of on that, Commissioner, one thing that with EPSEC Kellen, yeah, she wanted to make sure that our comments from the advisory group and from our standpoint as far as our local land use ordinance, everything, are consistent with what has been in the past. Darwin's letter very much is consistent and lays out the way things have been addressed. If we go outside of the realms of what consistent is, it would not be appropriate.
oh, no.
And so some of the comments from some of the people that are coming in are, they're comments that they don't address exactly land use or zoning or whatever. They can be a lot of different directions, but anyways, so I'm with you. We want to make sure those people get those to the right.
Well, and to that point, you hear me say it all the time, we, unfortunately or fortunately, I think it's fortunately because it makes it more straightforward, have to drive in our lane. We can't go zipping all over the place emotionally. We have to follow a process, and that's what we're doing.
And part of the comments that I prepared and can be sent to the state are the draft findings that we've had on previous applications, just removing the findings and saying, hey, this is how, and all the criteria that we've applied before.
Yeah.
So, and that's to be consistent. And the comment that I got back from Kellen, was that was the most helpful comment that we could provide. So, and we in the letter that is being sent, includes all of our documentation that's relevant to making a decision as well. So.
Well, and where it's the EPSEC process and the guidelines, if they just have the notice of intent right now, if they get a complete application, the guidelines and the be in compliance to be a complete application is actually quite detailed. They have to address everything from historic to wetlands to wildlife, everything. So there's some pretty strict guidelines.
And that's why both companies have said that they wouldn't even have their application in until July 1st with projected dates. So, it certainly is, that's why the comments get in early on what we would want to see in an application, and maybe, spend some time getting those prepared.
But for the record today, Melody, make sure that that we note that Darwin has supplied the information to the EPSEC process. The direction was given last meeting, but it's just follow up.
So I'll be sending those on.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Darwin.
Thank you, Darwin. Mr. Berman, Courthouse Bell Project. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, thank you. A couple months ago, Don Robinson come in, and it's something we've been looking at as well, because we had some issues with the curb out here on the courtyard that we need to address. Well, Don Robinson come in and as you know, Dan, I don't think Rob was here on that, but, come and give his feel on some benches and kind of help us with fixing that corner up, making it more presentable to the community. And so I went out for bids to do a, kind of like the Veterans Memorial, a paver with a curb with the bench, to put those bells on and make them more presentable.
It all flow together with Veterans Memorial.
Right,
Correct.
and then also Don Robinson, he has a little bit of history with those bells. When he was a kid, he used to climb to the top of the courthouse in Washington. He was a kid when he grew up, so he has a lot of sentimental history with him. So he come in and proposed that he wants to donate some really nice benches, and then he donated $5,000 to the project for us to do that. So I went out for bid, and I went out to 3 contractors to give me bids. I only got 1 bid back, and that was from Rob Thornton Builders. And they come in at $25,612 for the whole project.
And so the whole project, Dave, would that'd be reinstalling the bells on the new
Yes.
patio area, the
It would-
edges?
It would be redoing the problem we had with the sidewalk already, repairing that. Plus
Take
the
care of a safety
pavers.
issue there.
Yeah, we have a safety issue, plus with the curb, with the built-up building, it'll be laced in rock like the memorial is, just the bench part of it, and then the bells will sit on it. And inside the bell, it'll say Old Courthouse bells, I can't quite remember exactly what it says, but it'll tell you about the history of the, well, not tell you about the history, but it'll say Old Bells from Old Courthouse or something.
Can we go back to Don for a second?
Sure.
And he's not as nimble as he was back as a kid and had to climb the stairs to wash those. So is he agreeing to wash them since we're putting them on the ground?
You know, he hasn't really said that, but I think if we brought it up, he would be willing to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, he would take honor in it like that.
Yeah.
There used to be 4 bells, one was stolen years ago, so wherever that 4th one went, I don't know. That's what Don was telling me, so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No, I didn't either.
there's 4 bells.
So with that, we'll have to, there's a couple of trees out there which are creating safety issues with the sidewalk. The
Well,
roof.
it's starting to push up the actual sidewalk, and it just, the root system is just taking over, and it's just tearing everything out, counting the sidewalk. It's not a project we want to do, but on the north side, the west side of the sidewalk, it's going to push it up eventually. So it's just best why we're doing this project, taking them out now.
Yep, so,
So,
and this will make this will add to the memorial we have out there.
yes, it'll just it'll just add that much more to it. And like I said, he's putting 2 benches in there, 4-foot benches, that will be into the pavers of the project, and it'll look really nice.
I'm really excited about the project. Very nice to have a community member step up to help. because-
Well, we've been looking at it anyway to repair all that, and then he come in with a great idea.
Yeah.
And that, all that stuff where the bells are sitting out, it's all broke, it's just, it's time.
No, I totally agree. And
Some of it goes right into some of that deferred maintenance, basically.
Right.
we're probably gonna be able to catch that power source at the same time as far as, since we're gonna have that whole corner really.
Yes, we need
loosen
to
it
talk
up.
that, that's been in the plans, we just,
Yeah, other priorities.
any priority, yes. So let's blend it all in, and it'll look nice.
Good.
Okay, you have one other item, unless there's more questions on that.
No?
I guess back to that, that'll happen in this budget year.
Yes, as soon as,
it's
once
approved.
you approve, I'm making a phone call, and it's gonna be done. They're on standby, they're waiting for my word.
And there'll be a
I
time
saw him
frame.
out there
Yes.
with the backhoe a little bit ago.
Pardon?
I saw him out there with the backhoe.
Yeah, they're just waiting there, warming up the.
Okay, you have a cooperative agreement, is your other item.
Yeah, cooperative agreement with Summer Lake Irrigation District and Lake County, with the Lake County. We were in agreement with ODF&W with the Anna Reservoir, boat dock and, parking there. ODF&W, our contract ended on September 2017, and and they didn't want to go back into an agreement with us, so we went in with Summer Lake Irrigation District, with the county on us taking care of it, maintenance and keeping it going. They did add a little bit more to it. Before, it was just the boat dock and the boat parking and just that area. They expanded it up to 3.52 acres that we'll be more responsible for, which that's a benefit to the county, so we can go in. That helps us with grants to improve it with grants and campsites. And it just opens it up for the county to make it more presentable to the public, or to the users than
Yeah.
they already were.
And these are all funded out of the Parks and Rec, the Marine Fund, all that. So there's no general fund dollars go into this.
No.
And this is probably one of the higher use. We have Cottonwood, we have Ruse, and we have Anna, as far as boat dock areas, boat launch areas, I guess. Where this doesn't freeze, it gets used year round. So this would
There's
be.
always people there.
Yeah.
Well, then this will enhance the economic activity up in Summer Lake by a great amount, so that's a positive as well.
Yep. So, and you ran it by legal counsel, I know, so we can act on that also. And it's a 10-year agreement.
Yes.
What else you have for us, Mr. Merman?
I think I've already given you the update on the Egan Park grant. We started today. Actually, they're out there starting to do the grant work out of Egan Park today to enhance that park. So they're starting today as we speak. So
When will I know the weather's gotta be better, but when do you think the paving will be done?
it'll be done in September.
Okay.
I've got with the road department, they've already gave us a bid, and we've already have a plan for September for it to go in there and pave it, because they'll be out there already doing stuff. So,
Good.
Thank you.
thank you.
And so have an update, but it doesn't show on here, an update from Melanie.
Yeah, sure.
Does it?
Yeah, second page.
Second page. After my second page. I got the updated front page. Updates. All right, go ahead, Mel.
We had a vehicle pool meeting last week. We decided to purchase 2 new sheriff vehicles and replace them, mail cascade down to appropriate people in the county. And then we will have an auction after one of the old ones that we replaced. So we're looking to buy 2 new vehicles for the sheriff's department.
So during budget time, she'll be proposing the 2 new vehicles, and you'll see that in the budget time. She will be, haven't been purchased yet this year, which was in the works. They ran into some different designs for law enforcement groups. But the other thing, the search and rescue side of it, we have their search and rescue vehicle, the transmission out. It's a $4,000 cost for pulling the snowcat. Paul was talking, he was thinking about surplus in that one. My thoughts was on that is we don't have any that can cascade down that are 3/4 ton, or it should be 1 ton to haul that snowcat. So my suggestion is to look at Melanie's budget and see if there's money enough in there to fix that transmission to get by another year. And in the future, through the cascade effect, whenever the diesel pickup that one of our deputies has, it's expectancy for road deputy, it could be cascaded down to pull that snowcat, because it'd be more appropriate. But to get by for a year or maybe longer, to invest $4,000 makes sense instead of trying to get another vehicle, but one that would not be big enough.
So is this one with the transmission, is it the 1 ton that we got a few years back?
It's a 3/4 ton. It is the one that was search and rescue got a few years back. That's just search and rescue's rig, so it doesn't necessarily fit our vehicle program. Search and rescue's there's nobody there representing search and rescue as the nonprofit side, as the sheriff's side. Under Sheriff Howell was there, and so they've expended most all their funds on upgrading some of their other side-by-side, and I can't think of something else he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, I guess Melanie sort of needs a nod of approval, and she has enough money in there to go ahead and expend that on that pickup.
The only thing I guess I'm wondering, since I haven't been involved in those discussions, is Skirrell Schools just got reauthorized. We haven't seen the rules yet around search and rescue Title III. They were going to change those to give us more latitude. So I'm wondering if we're not gonna have some of those heretofore expendable dollars available to us to do repairs or even do upgrades. Because they understood, you can't wait until you have a high-level important search to gear up. And so we'll see what they put in, but if I was assured that they were gonna make it a lot more user-friendly for us, it's.
Excellent idea, because that's way back when Title III dollars is how we was able to upgrade a lot of the stuff out there. So where this is primarily used for the snowcat, it is not as time sensitive. We can wait for that.
Yeah, just a thought.
Yeah, it's an absolute perfect thought.
Yeah.
And even if they don't give the latitude that way, we could possibly still leverage a little bit of Title III, because that is used on forest searches, so we might.
Well, I would think we could tie the condition of the transmission to a previous search, which is allowable.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Excellent idea. So, Melanie, you don't even know what Title III are, because you haven't been around long enough. We'll talk about
Yeah.
Title III afterwards.
And we'll get the new rules around.
It's a whole nother pot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds great, thank you.
All right. Did you have any other updates?
I don't think so.
All right. Any leave? We got all the agenda there. Minutes are for tomorrow. Any liaison updates for you, Commissioner?
Just a couple of quick ones. It looks like it's already been a busy week. I don't know if you mentioned that Senator Merkley's gonna be here tonight.
No, I did not mention that.
And so when I get through, maybe you can talk about that, because I won't be at that, but you can go ahead and talk about it. I'm gonna have a couple of interviews this week. I know tomorrow morning we're gonna have Representative Finley here, who replaced Representative Bentz, to give us an update during our meeting. But I've got an interview with Colorado State University tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, and then with OHSU Friday at noon. And the AOC board meetings are next week. I was thinking about going. I'm on the drawing blank, well, public lands committee.
Public lands.
I'm probably not gonna go. I talked to a few folks over there. Things with the passing of Laura's daughter, I think the whole situation there's changing. So, anyway, that'll be good for today.
Okay, one other thing I'd like to, on liaison updates, I did go to Bend for the interview for the region manager. Bob Bryant retired, region manager for ODOT. It was an interesting interview process for the top two. It was a forum setting with multiple people there with questions, specific questions that we were able to follow up with. Paul Mathers and Director Garrett has chosen Gary Farnsworth. He was area manager for the Deschutes side of it. So now he will be the region manager that takes in all Lake County and portion of Klamath County, all Klamath County, all the way up. I can't remember exactly but it's a huge part. So he's gonna be our region 4 manager. He will be here whenever the OTC comes in June, so I think he will be a person that will represent the whole state and definitely help bring things to our region.
Good.
So that's all I have.
Did you want to talk any more about Senator Merkley's?
Oh, Senator Merkley, Senator Merkley will be at the Elks tomorrow at 5:30, or tonight. You should have talked about it. Senator Merkley will be at the Elks tonight at 5:30 for a public forum. I think he's slated right at an hour, if I'm not mistaken.
And I know you'll be sure and thank him for his work on PILT and SRS,
Yes.
because he was slighted in that, my words, in some of these press releases, but I had it from good authority, Congressman Alden's office, that he was very instrumental on the Senate side in getting this through. I know Senator Wyden's been the one that's, packed the water in the past, but Senator Merkley really stepped up from their point of view, so we were very appreciative.
You've been there long enough, you started to get some clout.
Yep.
Yep. Nothing else? Being you guys are here and sit through our meeting, I might as well open up any comments from the audience.
Good job, you did a good job.
Keep talking.
Okay.
That's unusual.
Well, I
Thank
don't
you
think I've
very
been to a commissioner meeting for quite a while, but I think you guys do an awesome job.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate all of you.
Thank you. With that, we will adjourn at 5 minutes to 10. Thank you.